Right now on Good Morning America, first look, new images of a highway pileup involving more than 100 vehicles as lake effect snow and life-threatening cold delays travel and closes schools.
Protests planned today, marking 1 year since President Trump began his second term. What he said overnight about taking over Greenland and why it could ignite a new trade war.
The new champions of college football.
The national champions.
The Indiana Hoosiers' historic turnaround. What the winning QB said about this incredible touchdown that sealed the game. His mother cheering from the stands. And how Coach Curt Cignetti plans on celebrating.
Also this morning, an American describes her terrifying ordeal trying to escape from Iran. How she finally got a phone signal to call home.
The popular GM vehicles under investigation over possible engine failure.
A big brawl on the ice, but this time it was goalies going at it.
The favorite to replace Coach Sean McDermott in Buffalo as two other NFL teams fill their coaching jobs.
And later, the video revealing something we never knew about cows.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America, First Look.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm Hannah Batam.
I'm Sophie Flay. We begin with life-threatening deep freeze causing travel delays and forcing schools to close.
The cold extends to the deep south, and a significant storm could be on the way. This morning, a brutal blast of Arctic air is fueling rounds of heavy snow, impacting millions from the Midwest to the Northeast. More than 100 vehicles involved in this chain reaction crash on Interstate 196 in Michigan. Drivers say they could barely see the cars in front of them.
It was just semi after semi, either going into the ditch, hitting each other.
The whiteout conditions leading to nearly a dozen injuries, including children. The highway shut down for nearly 8 hours. Multiple crashes also reported here in Indiana. Drivers facing near zero visibility from the Dakotas all the way to upstate New York, where some areas could see 4 inches of snow per hour. In Rochester, New York, pilots battling the elements trying to land during an intense squall. Along Lake Michigan, a rare phenomenon known as ice volcanoes. They form when waves push up water through cracks in the ice. All this as dangerous cold sweeps in, feels like temperatures plunging to 0 or below from Minnesota to Maine. It'll feel like 8 below in Detroit, forcing some schools to close. The frigid weather stretching as far south as Florida. And later this week, a potentially stronger winter storm could bring snow and ice from Texas to the southeast coast after rare snow fell in parts of the region this past weekend. More than 6,000 flights were delayed yesterday alone.
1 year ago today, President Trump took office to begin his second term, and today protests are being held nationwide. It comes as Trump's push to take over Greenland escalates into a potential trade war. Overnight, Trump posting this edited image with a U.S. flag on Greenland. ABC's Lana Moise has the latest.
This morning, protests are planned across the country to mark the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's second inauguration. The group Women's March organizing walkouts at 2 p.m. today to protest Trump's policies. As for the president, he's traveling to Davos, Switzerland for the World Economic Forum to talk housing affordability. But his threat to take over Greenland is overshadowing all discussions. Trump overnight said he expects European leaders will get on board.
I don't think they're going to push back too much. Look, we have to have it. They have to have this done. They can't protect it.
Thousands of protesters gathering in Copenhagen over the weekend, some wearing red hats saying, "Make America Go Away." The Danish military posting images of more troops arriving in Greenland, 8 NATO countries, including France, Germany, and the UK, also moving forces there as a show of support. And now, European leaders are threatening to deploy the so-called Big Bazooka, a measure to fight political and economic bullying, which could impose tariffs on American goods, including bourbon and soybeans. It's in response to President Trump's threat of a 10% tariff on those countries next month, jumping to 25% in June, until a deal is reached for the complete and total purchase of Greenland.
The use of tariffs against allies is completely wrong.
Stock futures on Wall Street dropping sharply overnight on Trump's tariff threat. Trump claims Greenland is needed for U.S. national security. His push to claim the island has threatened the NATO alliance, which could empower Vladimir Putin. Norway's prime minister texting Trump, "We all should work to take this down and de-escalate," proposing a phone call to talk it out. Trump texting back, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of peace, although it will always be predominant, but can now think about what is good and proper for the United States of America. Norway's prime minister says, I've explained to him many times that it's an award given by a Norwegian committee, not by the Norwegian government.
If anybody thinks that Norway doesn't control the Nobel Prize, they're just kidding. They have a board, but it's controlled by Norway, and I don't care what Norway says. But I really don't care about that.
This week in Davos, President Trump is also expected to hold a signing ceremony for his Gaza Board of Peace, which will oversee rebuilding and the Gaza Strip. Russia and Belarus are among the countries who say they've been invited to join the board. President Trump is the chair of the Board of Peace. As for Greenland, some British lawmakers are now calling for a boycott of the World Cup over Trump's threats. Hannah, Sophie.
Lionel, thank you. A new confrontation in the Minnesota immigration crackdown, a protest against federal agents spread into this church. And now the Justice Department is vowing to investigate those protesters. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Well, Hannah, good morning to you. The Justice Department says it's investigating after video posted online by Black Lives Matter shows protesters entering that church in St. Paul, where they say one of the pastors is a local ICE official. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the protest interrupting a church service is a potential violation of the FACE Act.
The FACE Act was passed to stop this exact type of conduct. You are not allowed to stop people from worshiping, and you're not allowed to intimidate or impede them. And so the individuals that went in there and did that, and you could tell that they had a plan, you could tell that they had an agenda, and you cannot do that in this country.
Also from Minnesota, the family of this man removed from his house and detained by ICE wearing just his underwear is disputing claims that he was living with 2 sex offenders. The family also claims agents ignored their offers to produce identification. And the state of Minnesota has been trying to convince a judge to declare the surge of federal immigration agents into the state as unlawful. The Trump administration, in a response last night, urged the judge to deny the state's request, claiming it would be an unprecedented act of judicial overreach. Hannah.
Nicole, thank you. A manhunt is underway in Indiana after a judge there and his wife were shot in their home. Judge Stephen Meyer and his wife were in stable condition after someone opened fire through their door. Police have not revealed a possible motive.
College football has crowned a new champion. The game coming down to the wire last night. But the story of the Indiana Hoosiers is about much more than football. Overnight, the Indiana Hoosiers claiming the national title, capping off an undefeated season with a dramatic win over the Miami Hurricanes.
A century of futility is forgotten. The Indiana Hoosiers are the kings of college football.
The Hoosiers, heavy favorites entering the game, but facing a tough Miami team on the Hurricanes' home field.
Blocked! Indiana blocks the punt and falls on it for a touchdown!
Indiana taking a 10-point lead after scoring on a blocked punt.
Fletcher walks in, Miami touchdown.
Miami closing the gap to 3 points in the fourth quarter, but the game will likely be remembered for this play. Hoosier quarterback Fernando Mendoza going for it on the 4th down, weaving his way through defenders and diving into the end zone. The Heisman winner's mother, who is battling multiple sclerosis, confined to a wheelchair, cheering him on from the stands.
I had to go airborne and I'll die for my team. Whatever they need me to do, they need me to take, shots from the front and the back, whatever it is, I'm going to die for my team out there.
Show my cameraman right there your arm. You can't imagine the beating this young man had last night.
A full circle moment for the 22-year-old who, coming out of high school, had hoped to play for Miami.
I was a 2-star recruit coming out of high school. I got declined to walk on offer to the University of Miami. Full circle moment here. Thank you guys. God bless.
Mendoza headlining a roster full of players who were passed over by bigger schools, but managed to reverse the fortune of a program that, until recently, had the most losses in college football history. Coach Curt Cignetti, in just his 2nd season at the helm, carrying through on this famous promise from his first season.
I win. Google me.
Transforming a legacy of loss into a national championship.
We won the national championship at Indiana University. It can be done.
How are you going to celebrate, Coach?
I'm going to have beer.
So exciting. Indiana is only the 3rd team in college football history to go a perfect 16-0. His smile there really says it all. Time now for your Tuesday weather.
Good morning. Southwest is best. We're cold in the east, in fact, bitterly cold Great Lakes into the northeast, even down into the deep south. We're looking at freeze alerts across parts of Florida. One more morning and a Wednesday morning will be cold, and then we start to moderate. Meanwhile, the northeast, single-digit wind chills, I-95 corridor, inland sub-zero wind chills through the afternoon. Barely feels like single digits. Going to be brutal. We will see a recovery Wednesday and Thursday. Lake effect snows, too. Could be 6 to 12 inches eastern Great Lakes for the next couple of days, maybe over a foot east of Lake Ontario. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, what could be the strongest solar storm in decades.
But first, dramatic efforts to save the driver of this sinking SUV.
And an American describes her terrifying ordeal trying to escape from Iran, how she got a cell phone signal to call home.
Hey, go to the back! Go to the back! Go to the back!
A chaotic scene in Virginia Beach where an SUV ended up in the water and a woman behind the wheel. 4 onlookers jumped in trying to break a window and get her out. One of them got inside and brought her to the surface just as the vehicle went underwater.
Nearly 600,000 vehicles from General Motors are being investigated by federal officials. They're looking into alleged engine failures that were supposed to be addressed in a recall. The models include Escalades, Silverados, Suburbans, and Tahoes. No comment yet from GM.
We turn now to a basketball player from Detroit describing how she managed to escape from Iran, where she was playing for a local team. American basketball player Taylor Jones has played for 17 teams overseas during her professional career, most recently for a team called Abudan in Iran.
We had, I want to say, 4 more games before we entered and transitioned into the playoffs.
Any hopes of a championship run ended when protests in the country exploded into chaos. Iran's government cut off internet service, leaving Jones in the dark until her teammate discovered her phone could pick up a signal from a tower in neighboring Iraq because they were staying close enough to the border.
I went to my other teammate's room who was American. She's like, I just figured out I have 1 bar. So I was like, okay, well, maybe if I sit in the corner of the room, my phone will also pick up.
After reaching her mother, Jones tried to escape into Iraq but was denied entry. A team agent helped secure her a flight to Dubai, but she had to fly out of Tehran.
They're looking at 4 or 5 Americans walk, and their eyes are just like wide, like Americans. Like we kept hearing them say Americans, Americans.
The death toll in Iran has climbed since Jones fled the country. Activists now estimate more than 4,000 people have died in the government's brutal crackdown on the protesters, who have been demanding economic and social change. Jones spoke last night with ABC's Lindsay Davis about the ordeal.
Have you been able to get in touch with any of your teammates since you returned home?
No, I have not, and I didn't get the opportunity to say goodbye as well.
Tough stuff there. Back in 2022, Jones was playing in Ukraine when the war broke out there.
Northern lights were on display across most of the country overnight, all thanks to what forecasters called the biggest solar storm in more than 20 years. The storm was the 2nd highest level of its kind. Colorful skies were seen from California to New Jersey.
Absolutely beautiful. Coming up, the hockey brawl between 2 NHL goalies.
Also ahead, the family feud involving 2 of the world's most famous people, David and Victoria Beckham. We're back with a rare goalie fight in the NHL. The Florida Panthers goalie traveling the length of the ice to throw punches at his counterpart from the San Jose Sharks. They both eventually fell to the ice and served penalties, but they did finish the game, and the Sharks ended up winning.
Prince Harry is blaming British tabloids for making him feel paranoid beyond belief. He's suing the publisher of the Daily Mail. That trial resumes today. His lawyer claims Harry felt his every move, thought, and feelings were being monitored. Harry, along with Elton John, Elizabeth Hurley, and others, accused the publisher of unlawfully gathering information on them. The publisher denies any wrongdoing, claiming Harry's social circle was the source of leaks.
Now to a family feud involving 2 of the most famous people on the planet and their son.
This morning, Brooklyn Beckham, the oldest child of David and Victoria Beckham, making bombshell claims about his famous parents. The 26-year-old saying, "I have been controlled by my parents for most of my life," adding, "I'm standing up for myself for the first time." Reports about a rift in the family have swirled for months after an alleged incident at Brooklyn's wedding to actress and billionaire heiress Nicola Peltz.
Allegedly at the wedding, she was doing an important dance. It was just her and her husband, and Victoria came running in and jumped in and took over the dance.
Brooklyn claims his mother hijacked his first dance with his bride, saying his mother danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life. Brooklyn claims his parents have been trying to, quote, ruin his relationship. He says when he flew to London for his father's birthday, the soccer legend rejected him. He refused all of our attempts unless it was his big birthday party with 100 guests and cameras at every corner. When he finally agreed to see me, it was under the condition that Nicola wasn't invited. Later, when my family traveled to LA, they refused to see me at all. The former model also claims his brothers were sent to attack him on social media. But late last year, when it appeared the Beckhams had unfollowed Brooklyn, their youngest son, Cruz, wrote, "My mom and dad would never unfollow their son. Let's get the facts right. They woke up blocked, as did I." Brooklyn, who says he grew up with overwhelming anxiety, says he does not want to reconcile with the family, claiming, "My family values public promotion and endorsements above all else. Brand Beckham comes first."
David and Victoria Beckham have not yet responded to those claims.
Coming up, 2 more NFL coaching jobs are filled.
Plus, what we never knew about the intelligence of cows. Time to check the pulse. We begin with big changes in the NFL when it comes to head coaches.
There's been a lot of movement after this most recent season. The Bills have fired Sean McDermott. ESPN analyst Rex Ryan claims Bill Belichick is the only guy who could replace McDermott. But Belichick says he is not leaving North Carolina.
Brian Daybell, a former Bills offensive coordinator, is considered the favorite for the job.
Meanwhile, the Dolphins have hired Jeff Hadley, the former Packers defensive coordinator, as their head coach. And the Titans are expected to hire Robert Saleh from the 49ers. Okay, next, a clever cow in Europe is surprising scientists.
Yeah, they were stunned to find out Veronica the cow has been using tools for years. She learned how to use a broom to scratch unreachable parts of her body, a skill only seen in humans and chimps. She's smart enough to use the bristle on her back and the other end of the stick on more tender parts.
Oh my goodness, I could watch this for hours. Too cute. Okay, next, a smaller version of the Sphere is coming to the East Coast.
A replica of the bubble-shaped entertainment venue in Las Vegas will be built at Maryland's National Harbor. It'll have 6,000 seats with the same exterior, the LED display.
But a very different surrounding than in Las Vegas, that's
Definitely.
For sure.
Next, a community coming together to help a family who lost their home in a fire.
Yeah, so the family's son has autism, and 12-year-old Dean's favorite hobby is Pokemon cards, but his collection was lost in the fire. So fire chief there asked for donations, and neighbors answered the call, dropping off boxes of cards for Dean.
And finally, a surprise on the slopes.
Yeah, this baby moose made a surprise appearance joining skiers in Park City, Utah.
One person saying it was an amazing moment of man interacting with nature. He's fast.
Look at him go.
Top headlines next. Checking more top stories. The death toll from the train crash in southern Spain is expected to rise to 43 people. Investigators are looking into whether a broken rail is a cause or a consequence of the crash, which was so violent some victims were found hundreds of feet away.
President Trump has been posting messages on social media overnight, once again insisting the U.S. needs to take over Greenland for national security. European leaders are threatening a possible trade war. Trump travels to the World Economic Forum today.
Police in Portland, Oregon have been searching overnight for the suspect who shot 2 police officers. They're in stable condition. They were responding to a call about someone making threats with a knife.
Authorities in Sydney, Australia now confirm 4 shark attacks in the region during a 48-hour period. A 12-year-old boy lost both his legs in one of those attacks.
Today's weather, bitter cold and windy in the northeast, snow around the Great Lakes and in the northern plains. Dry in most of the west.
And finally, remembering a fashion icon,
Valentino Garavani.
For nearly half a century, Valentino Garavani dressed everyone from models and movie stars to royalty.
Ladies and girls, and they love to be well dressed. They love to have beautiful clothes.
From Jackie Kennedy Onassis to Princess Diana, Audrey Hepburn, Elizabeth Taylor, Julia Roberts, and Lady Gaga, Valentino wasn't just their designer, he was one of them.
I've been invited by Madonna because she's a very good friend, and it's the 3rd time that I've seen the film. Tonight is 3rd time.
His name, his first name only, became synonymous with the epitome of fashion.
The message is that
for women to show the legs because it's the moment. I mean, depression is around and the women, they are the chief of femininity.
The Italian designer started his career in Paris, working for designers before returning to Italy to open his own house in 1959. His sumptuous gowns, beyond his signature shade of red, were characterized by bows, ruffles, and lace. Always fashionable himself, Valentino jetted around the world, his longtime companion, Giancarlo Giametti, by his side, handling the business side of everything.
I love beauty. It's not my fault.
The two of them retired together back in 2008. The film Valentino, The Last Emperor, documented his closing act. Tributes from inside his circle have been pouring in. Fellow designer Donatella Versace posted photos on Instagram calling him a true maestro. Supermodels Linda Evangelista and Cindy Crawford also posting. Crawford calling him a true master of his craft.
I love making women sensational, glamorous, because I respect the proportion of a woman very, very, very much.
Such an icon and so well respected.
Most definitely. Well, that is your Good Morning America First Look.
Have a great day, everyone.
Take care.